Okay. Welcome to Coach's Corner, presented by Leighton Sports. Today, I have the honor of talking to SUNY Cortland head women's basketball coach, Jacey Brooks. Coach Brooks, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Not too bad. So first, I want to begin with your time at Buffalo State. What was it like being a college athlete and now being a head coach? What's kind of the role that's played in your life?
Well, being a college athlete at any level, Division I, II, III, is a fantastic experience. The best one being when you come into college, you automatically have a teammate or a team group of friends, where you don't have to work on introducing yourself to new people day in and day out like a normal college student. But the things it teaches you to be a college athlete with obviously your work ethic and your dedication and time management and what it takes to be part of a team and in a role. It kind of shapes you for the rest of your life. And I think that goes hand to hand with why a lot of big companies and corporations, they look for former athletes in college because they know they have some intangibles that maybe a normal person wouldn't have, that they had being, part of as a student athlete. And that's something that I take to, throughout my career from being a coach, those things that taught me to be a student athlete. It's kind of similar role as a head coach, ingraining those qualities into my players day in and day out, and allowing them to see success with those. But if it wasn't for those qualities that were ingrained in me as a student athlete, I'm not sure I'd be where I am today.
Perfect. So SUNY Cortland, obviously super well known for their athletics, and teams every year make the NCAA tournament for their respective sports. So what kind of message do you relay to your players to continue to fuel their drive to maybe achieve that one day?
Yeah, I think with being at SUNY Cortland and like you said, all of our sports team, there's been a certain level of success and tradition. And I think so all of our sports team, there's a little bit of expectation. So with that, I always talk to my kids about, you're not a normal D3 athlete. Like you're a part of something really special at Cortland. And, from our national championships where with multiple sports to that success of winning SUNYAC championships and advancing to the NCAA tournament, it takes a little bit extra, and I think they end up though falling in love with it. They want that kind of pressure. They enjoy it. I always talk about, we have a target on our back and it will make some teams seasons if they beat SUNY Cortland. So I think with that level of expectation, when we go into practices and everything, it's very, we're kind of cut and dry. We know what we need to get done. We come in and we work hard. Obviously there's time to have fun, playing sports is always fun, but when you have that level of expectation, you've got to be a little bit serious about your approach and a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. So I also want to take a moment to kind of mention some of your accolades as a coach. So you're part of SUNYAC's coaching staff of the year, D3 sports, East Region Coach of the Year as well. So what do those kind of accolades mean to you and now as a coach?
They don't mean anything to me other than, I had a really good team. That year that I received those awards, I came in and it was my first recruiting class and I brought in a class of 8 new players. And one of them ended up being the player of the year and the other one was the rookie of the year, and they came together as a unit and they played really, really hard. And, they were competitive within the SUNYAC and we did really well in the non-conference. But it's just something that my players deserve more than I do, because they were the ones out there playing the game.
So would you say that your players kind of help build the program? It's about the coaches too, but the players are the ones kind of helping drive that mentality.
Oh, absolutely. The coaches are going to tell you what to do. But ultimately it's up to the players, and to practice every day, compete day in and day out, really, get that camaraderie where both on and off the court. But like I said, they got a taste of winning early that season and they just, loved it and they wanted to keep it going. And, they came together when need be. And we were fortunate enough to get an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament that year, which I was ecstatic for them, for their work, throughout the year, that it didn't come down to one game of the SUNYAC championship to make the NCAAs, and their work in the non-league and even the success in the regular season for the conference schedule, it paid off and they got that at-large bid.
So obviously you do a lot of work for women in college sports. Can you kind of talk a bit about what you do and also talk kind of about the WBCA? Can you just kind of give us an insight to that?
Yeah, I'm a part of the National Women's Basketball Coaches Association, and that's always kind of we have a conference every year. But this year, what a lot of focus, and I'm sure Tristan, as you're a sports person, you saw some of the inequality stuff happening between the men's and women's
Yeah, for
Division
sure.
One,
Yep.
women tournament, basketball tournament. So
Yes.
obviously, always focusing on that, and making sure that women athletes are getting those same rights and same opportunities that the men get. So always personally with my team driving home women and the I guess how men are ruling the world, right? But we're right there behind them now, where
Exactly.
I keep pushing them to follow their dreams and to believe in themselves, and they can have any job they want. It doesn't matter if men typically had it in the past. We're right there. And then I'm also part of a mentor group within the WBCA. It's called Beyond the Huddle, and we're put in these small groups with other coaches around the country from all different levels, and we kind of have meetings every month, and it's bouncing ideas off each other, X's and O's, maybe how to handle situations, practice ideas, team building, and it's a really good opportunity to get together with other women coaches, and be able to kind of build upon that and build our sport.
Now, do you have any times where your players kind of come up to you and ask questions about how they can be better kind of at a leadership level?
Oh,
How does that look?
absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of my big things is within our program is one award. So we all know sports teams, right? Where at the
Yeah.
end of the season, you have your MVP,
Oh,
your
yeah.
defense MVP, your team or your coaches award, yada, yada, yada. And here at Cortland, I brought in the idea we give one award, and that is the best teammate award. And it doesn't, we can look at a stat sheet and see who maybe the MVP was, right? So I just am a firm believer when you have a team full of teammates who want to be the best teammate, right? I think that's when you have a lot of success. And they know this from the jump, and they're all working towards it. And they're constantly asking me, what can I do to be better, right? And that's both leadership on the court, how to be a teammate, because at the end of the year we all get together and all the girls vote on this award, and whoever has the most votes, they receive this award. And at our banquet, I will read even if a player received one vote, I let the whole team know, and we go through if they had 2 votes, 3 votes, and I have them write down why this person was the best teammate this year. And it's something I think that they're all, kind of enjoying, right? They all want to be that best teammate. And what that is pushing each other in practice, getting excited. I say you should get more excited for your teammate to score than you. There's not a game where it goes by where if we score a bucket that anybody on our bench is sitting down, and they've taken a lot of pride in that, which has been fun, so this is my 4th year doing it. And I think this year might be a little difficult decision, because like I said, they've all been striving for that. But I have those certain ones who really, we talk about leading in different ways. Some of my better players who lead by example, they're not able to, quite vocally lead, right? And maybe vice versa. My best vocal leaders aren't maybe the ones that can lead by example on the court. So finding that happy medium. But I said everybody has to lead in their own way. Find your niche, find the way that you're good at with leading. And when we all have that approach, right, we're going to come together better as a unit.
So going back to the team, how excited was the team and even yourself to now have a full season upcoming? How important is this to you?
You don't understand the excitement, Tristan. It's been a long, long wait.
For
It's
sure.
down to 2 days. I wish we were practicing here in 15 minutes at 4:00, but I got to wait 2 more days. So 48 hours, the countdown is on. But it's been a long time. I did a countdown from when we last competed in the NCAA tournament, 2 seasons ago, to our first game this year, and it'll be 614 days.
Wow. Incredible.
So kind of puts it in perspective.
So last season, you had 14 players on your roster make the SUNY Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll. So how important to any recruits maybe watching this in the future, how important are academics as a college athlete?
I mean, academics are your number one priority, A lot of people want basketball to be that number one, but academics, I always tell them it's a really scary thought to think about. Basketball might come to an end someday, but it's probably going to happen. For the most part, we're not going on to play professionally, right? There might be a couple that go, but when you leave here in 4 years, I want you to be able to have that degree and go out and get a good job, right? I don't want you to kind of float through, right? Maybe not take advantage of that internship or extra opportunities. Academics is our number one focus, and I drive that. And they know if they don't have success in the classroom, if they don't maintain a certain GPA, they're not going to be a part of the program. You've got to be a student athlete here where you're getting stuff done in the classroom, because I really learned, Tristan, in my 15 years of coaching now, that it correlates, right? For the most part,
Sure.
students who do well in the classroom are going to do well on the court, right? Students who are going to struggle in the classroom are going to struggle on the court. So, making them, some people need to put in a little extra time in order to have that success. But I feel most part our girls are willing to do that. But it's definitely a huge focus point of mine, that making sure we get our stuff done.
Agreed. Exactly. So kind of tie into that. Can you kind of walk us through maybe a schedule for one of your athletes, both managing their on their court time, the basketball time, and also their academic time? How do their schedules kind of play into your practice schedule and games? Can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will tell you, trying to figure out a practice schedule around their class schedule is a pretty big puzzle.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'd like to try to keep a window, between 4 and 6 every day that's kind of clear. But we all know as students advance in college, right, their classes become a little more limited within their major. And so I might have to have a student that comes late to practice or needs to leave early within that window. But I always tell them, the biggest difference from college to high school is your time management. And, say you have class at 8 a.m. and you go from 8 to 9 and don't have a class again until noon. What are you doing between 9 and 12, right? Your average student is going to be able to go back to their dorm room and take a nap or go game or whatever they do, where you've got to go to the library as a student athlete because after practice you have class again from 12 to 1, you got to eat lunch, then you got to go see the trainers because practice starts at 4, and we're not going to we'll get out at 6:30. By the time you get to the locker room change, it's 7 o'clock, and it's like, holy cow, I'm exhausted, right? I thank God I went to the library earlier because I would be really tired to go right now. But the kind of schedule changes, I would say, in the preseason compared to postseason. Right now, preseason, our kids have gotten up, they're at conditioning from 6:45 to 7:45 a.m. twice a week. They're in the weight room, twice a week, and then they're able to play pickup on their own. Because one of the unfortunate rules of Division III is I'm not allowed to be in the gym with them until October 15th.
Right.
So once, that schedule, now it comes as a Friday, right? I have them from, you figure if practice starts at 4, they're in the facility between 3 and 3:30. Like I said, going to see the trainers, getting themselves mentally, physically prepared. Practice starts at 4. I'm going to keep them for 2 hours. We'll go till 6. Then you go see the trainers post practice. Get out. It's 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I take about 3 to 4 hours out of their day, and then on top of it, twice a week, we're still lifting, and then that's just for practice. And then when games come into play, right now you're on the road, you have a 7 o'clock game, the bus is leaving at 1 o'clock. You may have to miss a class or two, and the schedule becomes very, very rigorous. And that's why I tell them, it's important for us to stay on academics. They have their planners. They have everything for the most part written out with assignments. And so they can look ahead of like, oh, hey, I have this exam next week, but we're on the road, the night before. So I've really got to get my study hours now because I won't be able to do that the night before.
I think that's great. I mean, myself, I'm a college athlete. I play college golf, so I kind of relate to that heavily. My days, I'm practicing for 5 to 6 hours a day, going to the library till midnight. I kind of relate to that entire schedule. So that's a great piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but like I said, the time management, I make them plan out their days and when can they get their stuff done. And the biggest part is being productive throughout the day. Right. Because if we just go back and take a nap or do whatever, now it's late at night and you're like, oh my God, I got to get so much work done. So I really encourage them to take those blocks during the day, get their stuff done. So after practice, they're able to go eat dinner with their teammates, hang out a little bit and then go to bed, and next day do it all over again.
Right. I read a thing once that basically D3 athletes are just like your regular student, except they're up later, they go to bed later, and they're up earlier. So
absolutely, Tristan. Absolutely.
So, lastly, our last point here today, what would you kind of tell a future recruit looking to play college basketball at SUNY Cortland? What are you telling your recruits as you bring them in?
Yeah. Well, I think, in the recruiting process, right? I'm able to, I also coach AAU. So I spend a lot of time on the road,
Yep.
and the players that catch my eye is you've got to play hard. Like you
For sure.
have to play very, very hard. I always say I'd rather take that athlete that plays really hard, who may not be as good, compared to, a really skilled player who kind of plays half at it,
Right.
like I like somebody who plays all hard all the time. The other thing I watch for is to be a good teammate. I watch their interaction with their teammates. I watch the interaction with their coaches. I watch their interaction with the referees. Because, if they're going to talk back to their coach or question the referee, like I just don't, that's not my type of kid.
Right.
We just go out there, we play hard, we take care of business, and everything else takes care of itself. I also, from a basketball standpoint, I love to multi-dimensional players, right? We shoot a lot of threes. So I need my big post players to be able to shoot threes. I even like bigger guards, which if you look at my roster, I think my guards are the tallest girls on the team. I like them to create some mismatches and maybe post up inside, because I do think Division III, a lot of the time there's one-dimensional players. So I try to get those ones who are multifaceted, who can play multiple positions, who make it really hard I want to be really hard to guard, right? I want other teams to just wonder how the heck are we going to match up against them, because all their players can do everything.
Right. I mean, for example, yourself, you set records in 3-point percentage and free throw percentage. So kind of having that tie into players is great.
Yeah,
So,
I was a post player who could shoot threes.
That's exactly what we look for. So Coach Brooks, thanks for coming on today. It was a pleasure having you. To Layton Sports, we will see you guys soon.